An active radar to start the week, and this is not going to be the last time it looks like this. How many summer plans are impacted by thunderstorms across greater Cincinnati here this afternoon? They're most widespread now, and for the next couple of hours this evening, they are going to start to become a little bit less widespread, but then overnight kind of developing, and then we'll still see the chance for more thunderstorms throughout the day tomorrow. So ample rain headed our way over the next couple of days, and you've got that right now in Middletown. You just had this heavy downpour move through Springboro. You're seeing it right now. Heavy rain impacting Lebanon as well, and you've got another round of some heavy showers that are going to be moving in just behind this storm that's just to the north of town for you. Over toward Mason, things are starting to dry out if you are on the south side of Mason, but areas to the north still seeing some of that heavy rain. And then we have some additional heavy downpours over by Loveland and Sims Township. Areas around Montgomery seeing that heavy rainfall, and then heavy rain closer to just outside of Sims Township, again right around the Loveland area. Milford seeing some light rain and a few light showers across the 275 loop over towards Cheviot on the west side, right around Finneytown as well. Some light rain moving through there, as well as northern Kentucky. Some light showers rolling through. These heavier downpours also impacting Georgetown, areas around Ripley. Augusta also seeing some of that heavy rain. As we go throughout the rest of this afternoon, efficient rainmakers still a possibility. Again, most widespread now. They will see a little bit of a break, but then as we head into the overnight, starting to see that redevelopment into tomorrow morning as well. So I'll show you that heavy rain threat coming up in a few. Across greater Cincinnati this afternoon, you'll still plan on seeing some downpours at least through the afternoon time frame, and then overnight there's a chance for some additional rain and thunderstorms to continue into tomorrow morning. I'll show you the potential for any heavy rainfall coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5, and we'll be right back. And there will be some better weather headed our way, but the road to get there is going to be incredibly muggy and also soggy, with the chance of scattered downpours almost every single day leading up to the weekend. Right now across greater Cincinnati, some of those downpours coming down hardest for areas just to the east of I-75. Again, up toward Middletown, you're still seeing some heavy rain. Springboro as well, seeing that heavy rain and thunder and lightning kind of starting to work its way just to the north of you, but I still think there could be some additional heavy rain that's actually moving through Lebanon right now, moving up just to the east side of Springboro and areas throughout other parts of Warren County there between Lebanon and Springboro. Now, as we go further to the south, Mason, you're going to get another little shower that's going to roll through here. Not as heavy as what you saw earlier, but I still think there's at least the chance for some rainfall to roll through. 275 loop at this point looking mostly dry for the northern half, but the southern half of the loop down toward Kentucky, areas right around Lakeside Park, Highland Heights, you're still seeing some light rain. That's working its way through, and then over toward Ohio into Anderson. You've got some light rainfall that's moving through there as well. Light rain also impacting Ross Township, up by Colerain, Cheviot, Delhi, west side of town. You're still seeing some of that light rain, but it is a little bit heavier here along the AA, especially out toward Georgetown. Areas just to the north of Ripley as well. You're starting to see some drier weather kind of working in, but there is still that chance to see some additional downpours kind of starting to work their way just to the south of you, as well as some rainfall over by New Richmond. That's going to start to make its way in from Campbell County into the New Richmond area. So it's likely that the skies are already dark, if not already raining, right around New Richmond this afternoon. We'll still see some additional downpours, but I do think right now is actually the timing for when they're most widespread. Now through about 8 o'clock, they're going to kind of slowly start to taper off the rain chances. But then as we head into the overnight time frame, kind of that period between early tomorrow morning and really late tonight, so essentially pre-dawn all the way through, once the sun starts to come up, there's going to be the potential for additional rain to move through. Thunderstorms as well. There could be some heavy enough rain that we could end up with some localized flooding concerns, some high water issues. So keep that in mind tonight, keep it in mind tomorrow throughout the day, and then even tomorrow night into Wednesday, because these rain chances are going to be lasting off and on throughout at least the first half of this week. And then even Thursday night, it looks like we start to see another push of some showers moving through. The rain does bring some quick relief in that intense humidity for some. However, others are still feeling like about 90 degrees right now. So it is still just incredibly hot and humid, and that muggy air also not going anywhere for the next several days. In fact, it looks like feeling like the 90s will be pretty common for a lot of us as we get into Wednesday and Thursday as well. So Futurecast still showing some isolated showers across greater Cincinnati through about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight, and then that redevelopment is possible especially as we get into early tomorrow morning. So again, anywhere from about pre-dawn through that morning rush, I do think there is that potential for some heavy rain to be moving through the Cincinnati area. Timing of this at this point still could change, very much so could change, but I do think it's doing a good job of painting that picture of the heavy pockets of rain that start to develop throughout the day tomorrow. And then as we get into the afternoon, scattered development tomorrow evening as well, still a possibility. So heavy rain threat not going anywhere anytime soon. These are very moist and tropical downpours that are coming down with all the warm and just again tropical air that we've got coming, and you can see it's really feast or famine outside. More than a ½ inch of rainfall at CVG, nothing at Wilmington. Lunken Airport picking up just over ¼ inch of rain. Nothing in Batavia. Temperatures there sitting in the 80s at times this afternoon, feeling like closer to 90 degrees outside. So we are very much in that summertime pattern all the way through Thursday. Temperatures very well could be knocking on 90s door. I don't think we quite get there, but upper 80s certainly a possibility Wednesday, Thursday, and then we get a quick break from the rainfall heading into this weekend. So if you do have plans to be out, storms are rolling through right now. What this means for outdoor plans today and how many more afternoons you see those thunderstorms coming up. With a chance of storms, if that does not say early summer forecast, I don't know what does. And right now that's the case for us across greater Cincinnati. We've got those thunderstorms stretching across areas of now Claremont County. So starting to see some of that rain making its way further east of 75, areas closer to Lebanon. Still seeing a little bit of that rain kind of starting to work its way out of town for you, though. You still could see some additional showers because Mainville's still seeing some rainfall, and we've got that other downpour just south of Mainville. All of that kind of pushing off to the north, and we also have some downpours along I-71 in Warren County as well, and then areas just outside of Springboro. You're still seeing some rain. It's not as heavy as it was earlier, but still some moderate downpours coming down for you. And some of this is very efficient rainfall. In fact, just north of Amelia right now, we've got a really heavy downpour. That's going to be approaching Batavia soon, right around Stone Lake State Park. Also seeing some of that rainfall. So heads up if you were thinking about going out there for a hike or maybe going out to the lake or something. We've got these scattered downpours. They are going to be around off and on for the rest of the afternoon, wrapping up here closer to about 8 o'clock tonight, but only to see chances redeveloping throughout the overnight and tomorrow morning. We do still have some rainfall as well over toward Brown County, just outside of Ripley and areas of Georgetown, and then south of that as well, Mason County. You're seeing some of these downpours rolling through for you. So the next couple of days featuring all weather impact days through Thursday, because these scattered downpours and thunderstorms will be a possibility through Thursday. Timing each day is going to change, but primarily for this afternoon and evening, looks like the chances are best now. Start to kind of taper a little bit as we get closer to that 8 o'clock hour, but then revamp overnight into tomorrow morning. We'll see that daily rain threat off and on throughout the day tomorrow as well. And then chances from there get to be a little bit more specific with their timing. With all of this, though, there is that potential for some localized high water or flooding concerns. So coming up in a few minutes, I'm going to lay out my latest thoughts on that chance. Plus, I'll have more on this high heat and humidity that's really going to start to crank up. Ashley? Hours all around greater Cincinnati here today, and daily rain threats lasting throughout the rest of the week as well. I'll show you which next day looks to be most impacted. Plus, I'll have more on when that heat and humidity really start to dial up coming up. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5, and we'll be right back. Across greater Cincinnati, again, still looking to be more widespread east of I-75 and really south and east of 71 as we speak. Some light rainfall south of the 71-75 split as well. Waynesville, you're seeing that heavy rain right now. Areas outside of Springboro finally starting to dry out a little bit, but you still could see another light shower moving through. That's currently impacting South Lebanon. Throughout the 275 loop, east side now seeing some of that widespread light rainfall, but areas just outside of the loop over towards Stone Lake and Batavia, you're seeing a lot of heavy rain. You are seeing thunder and lightning too, and this is going to continue for about another 10 to 15 minutes depending on where you live between these storms. But again, some quick heavy downpours certainly a possibility. So far, Batavia, you made it throughout the entire day without seeing anything, but now you're getting in on the action, which did earlier bring more than a ½ inch of rain over at the CVG airport. So some of these are efficient rainmakers. Areas to the south of the AA highway as well as south of the Ohio River start to work its way north of the highway, north of the river. And then we've also got some rain in far eastern Brown County too. Temperatures at the moment where it hasn't rained yet are pretty toasty. In fact, it looks like some of our feels like temperatures, the heat index at this point, sitting in the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees for some spots. People's right now feeling more like 90, 87 in Hillsborough, feels like 86 in Wilmington, where we haven't had any rain at all. But that quick relief for areas on the west side of town that did see the rainfall, areas around northern Kentucky as well, feeling more like the upper 70s. But that's not a very comfortable upper 70s. You are still seeing or feeling the intense humidity as well. And that's another theme that's going to continue through the week. In fact, it progresses and really peaks midweek as we start to see some of our more intense heat and humidity kind of really ramping up here midweek. But before that, we're still going to see these scattered downpours here this afternoon, most widespread now. They start to kind of taper through about 8 o'clock tonight. But then as we head into the overnight into tomorrow morning, I still think some repeated development of rain and thunderstorms will be a possibility. So that morning commute tomorrow very well could include the chance for some rain. Heavy for some spots. Some are going to end up picking up a lot of rainfall from all this that we're seeing here. Again, these are efficient rainmakers, so if you see persistent rain over the same spot, that could lead to some localized high water concerns. That's something that we're keeping an eye on here, especially overnight into tomorrow morning, and then again tomorrow night into Wednesday morning. So here's how Futurecast handles it. Still seeing some spotty to scattered downpours through about 8 o'clock this evening. And then after that, we'll start to see things kind of drying out for a bit before it starts to redevelop by tomorrow morning. Timing of this is going to change by a few hours or so, but I do think in general, tomorrow morning, we end up seeing some rain during that morning commute. At times, it could be heavy for some spots. Right now, that looks like it could be pinpointed for areas of Kentucky, but even that could still change. So just know that some spots tomorrow morning really are going to get some heavy rainfall, even into tomorrow afternoon too. Some of these downpours look like they could be on the more intense side. Main concern would be that concern for some localized high water issues. And then, of course, the thunder and lightning threat is there as well. So if the kids were hoping to get out to the pool, or if you've got swim meets happening tomorrow, I do think there is going to be that potential for some issues with delays or cancellations, possibly if you end up seeing some of those persistent downpours throughout your Tuesday. Wednesday looks to be more of a morning threat. As we get into Thursday, nighttime thunderstorms, briefly dry on Friday, but that also comes with the threat for some rainfall early Friday. But then we'll start to dry out as we get into Friday afternoon and Friday evening, finally getting a little bit of a break from that heat and humidity Friday afternoon and evening into Saturday. But at this point, decided to go ahead and make Friday an impact day with that chance for some of those early morning showers that are still going to be moving through. Tomorrow, if you don't see any of those thunderstorms and you just see the high temperatures closer to about 80 to 82, depending on where you live, you very well could feel like closer to 91 tomorrow afternoon. That high heat index into the 90s will be the norm for us here Wednesday and Thursday as well. Looks like we feel more light across greater Cincinnati. You might still run into a sprinkle occasionally, but for the most part, that heavy rain that we had earlier this afternoon, that for some drops more than a ½ inch of rainfall, has started to wrap up. Still a couple of showers starting to make their way through areas east of I-71. So if you're over in Brown County, right around Mount Orab, actually a new little thunderstorm starting to go up there for you. So that's impacting areas of Brown County and some portions of Highland County, but otherwise things are pretty quiet out there. These thunderstorms are still making their way out of the county as well. Now here's the thing. With the rest of tonight, can't guarantee that we're totally dry, especially the closer to tomorrow morning we get, because at that point we could start to see some additional development moving into the greater Cincinnati area. So for tomorrow, still looking at that chance for the morning commute, possibly even before the sun has a chance to come up, to see some additional rain move through. Daily rain threats lasting through essentially the rest of the work week, and with that, any sort of one of these thunderstorms that's persistent enough, drops enough rainfall, could lead to some localized flooding issues. I want to quickly show you here Futurecast. So next couple hours we dry out, but then tomorrow morning we do have that chance to see some additional rain or thunderstorms moving in. Some of that could be on the heavy side. I'll continue to lay out the impacts that we feel over the next several days, plus the heat and humidity that keep cranking, coming up in a few. Chris, some additional rain as you wake up in the morning tomorrow. There is that concern for some heavier rain as well. We'll show you the timeline for it all and when things try to dry out for us here a little bit, coming up in a few. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5, and we'll be right back. Franklin County, you're starting to see some additional rainfall moving through. It's a little small pocket of that heavy rain, but nonetheless, north of Mount Orab, that's what you're dealing with. Some scattered downpours around Felicity over toward Augusta, just kind of all around the Double-A Highway, and right around Brooksville too. You still have another sprinkle that's starting to work its way through. So for the rest of tonight, I don't really anticipate anything, at least for the evening, to be as widespread as what we saw earlier. But as we head into the overnight and tomorrow morning, there's going to be a renewed threat for some rain, some heavy rain at times. It's going to be moving through the greater Cincinnati area. Right now, we still have thunderstorms kind of dancing all around the region. This is going to be something that we're dealing with for another day or two, all the way through Wednesday. Thursday, there's still a chance to see some rainfall. Even Friday morning at this point, there's a chance to see some rain. But what we're dealing with right now is eventually going to start to try to clear out of here by the time we get to the middle of the week. Temperatures at the moment are sitting in the 70s all across town. Some spots today did make it into the mid 80s. We officially topped out at 80 degrees in Cincinnati. It's 77 in town right now, 80 in Warsaw. Dillsboro sitting around 80 degrees as well. For the rest of the evening, we'll stay in the 70s. Right now, we are kind of getting a little bit of a break from the widespread rain that we had earlier today. That ended up dropping for some spots closer to a ½ inch of rainfall. So some did pick up quite a bit of rainfall just today alone. And then as we head into overnight tomorrow morning, throughout the day tomorrow, we're still going to pick up some rain. At times it is going to be heavy. These are going to be very efficient kind of tropical downpours that dump a ton of rain on us. And if you can get caught under one, several ones too, you do have that chance to see some higher rainfall totals, which would lead to some high water concerns, some quick flash flooding. That's something that we are going to be keeping a close eye on, at least through the next 24 to 36 hours as this is rolling through the area. Once we get to Wednesday, though, rain chances are around Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, it gets steamy. It is going to feel very tropical outside. Temperatures are going to reach into the 80s. Those dew points make it feel more like the 90s outside on Wednesday, and then again on Thursday too. Some spots feel like about 90 to 95 for Wednesday and Thursday. So in that full-time summertime forecast here, with the chance of those spotty downpours moving through. For the rest of tonight, this evening, that's the quiet part of it all. Once we get to tomorrow morning, timing of this still could change. It could be earlier than 8 a.m. But once we get to kind of pre-dawn tomorrow morning into tomorrow's commute first thing in the morning, there is going to be that chance for some additional downpours, some of which will be heavy rain. And if you get caught under a persistent heavy downpour, that is where I do think we could start to see some localized flooding issues kind of starting to come into play. Throughout the rest of your Tuesday, we'll still see some off and on downpours that are going to be on the heavy side. And then Tuesday night into Wednesday, still looking at the chance to see some more rainfall. That potential will continue Thursday night, and then Friday as well. An early chance of seeing some rain wrapping up by Friday afternoon. Our best break from the humidity and heat is going to come Friday afternoon and evening. Then on the throughout most of the day Saturday, heading into the second half of the weekend though, and early next week, we'll start to see more humidity kind of building back in. But for the next couple days, again, keeping a close eye on